Transgender judge is set to challenge the Supreme Court's gender ruling to the ECHR.
It comes as Dr. Victoria McLeod claims a decision by the Supreme Court goes against human rights and makes her feel contained and segregated.
Well, we're joined in the studio now by criminal defence lawyer Paul Britton. Paul, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So we had this Supreme Court decision stating that a woman is defined as a biological woman, though somebody who's born female, born as a woman. That seemed to to quieten the noise around this. Put it to bed. This very difficult debate. And now we have this very well-respected judge who is trans herself. It's Dr. Victoria McLeod, who's been trans for many years, saying, no, I'm going to challenge this. I'm going to take it to the ECHR. What might that result in?
It might result in a finding, a ruling by the European Court of Human Rights that the decision by the Supreme Court was wrong and that England has to change its decision and amend its legislation accordingly. Is that binding on us? You know, there have been decisions in the past that they've made, for example, giving prisoners the right to vote, that successive governments put off again and again and again. Until they finally made a kind of halfway house concession, giving some prisoners the right to vote, but it's not a full, I wouldn't say, compliance with that decision. So do we have to comply with it? We can kick the can down the road. We cannot comply with it. Or dare I say...
Hang on, if we don't comply with it, what can happen? Is there a sanction then from the ECHR?
There can be sanctions. It's not great on the political, on the world stage. If citizens feel like their human rights aren't being followed, then what we call a brain drains, you know, people in jobs like ours can leave the country for countries that favour us and respect our human rights more.
But why should we have what's the point of having a Supreme Court if it can be overruled by a body set up decades ago, 46 judges from different countries? What's it got to do with them?
So, yeah, the European Court of Human Rights set up in the 50s. There's roughly 46 signatories to that. It's not to be confused with the European Court of Justice, which, of course, we did leave in 2020 when Brexit finally went over the line. I think it's unhelpfully named the European Court of Human Rights because people automatically link it to... And they think, but we Brexited, why are we subscribed to it? It's a different kettle of fish. We should be probably calling it the world's courts of human rights or the people's courts of human rights. It has members in there like Switzerland, Norway...
Not America.
The United States aren't. You know, they rely on their constitution for their human rights. They've always refused to join it. They say they already have their human rights.
How long might something like this take? If Dr. Victoria McLeod does appeal this decision, how long are we looking at for this issue to still be swirling around?
Well, Dr. McLeod is appealing the decision, is going to go to the court. It could be anything from 6 months to a year to be heard. Depends if it's accepted first. There will be a vetting process to see if it does fall within their jurisdiction. If it is of interest, I think it probably is. They probably are going to hear it, and they are going to make a determination. What's more interesting is it's not just going to affect us, but it will affect all 46 signatories to that court.
And will all 46 judges be involved in assessing the Supreme Court decision, or will it be just a handful? How does it work?
It will be the panel, a selected panel of judges, probably the ones that have most experience in these matters or an interest, and they will make that decision.
If they overturn it, the clamour in this country for Britain to leave the European Court of Human Rights will be deafening.
It could push us further away, and then, you know, Parliament has supremacy, has sovereignty. They can make changes. They could look at the Human Rights Act of '98, make amendments to that. We could bring our own Bill of Rights, which has been ventilated quite a few times, a separate bill that covers... What we must ensure, though, is that if we do leave that we have our backup ready to protect the rights of citizens, rights that we all enjoy now, the right to a fair trial, most important to me as a criminal defence lawyer, freedom of expression, the things that we take for granted, we need to make sure that they continue and are maintained and protected for us all.
OK, thank you, Paul. Fascinating. I'd love you to come back and tell us, in that case, how you feel about trials being conducted without juries.
I can do that.
In a word?
I did that with Jacob Rees-Mogg not long ago.
Oh, did you? In a word, good or bad?
I think you have the right to be judged by your peers, so I'm in favour of juries.
I thought you might say that. Right, let's have that chat another day. Thank you, Paul Britton, there.